Hey, been on vacation, so I didn't get to make a Leicester video, and the Tottenham game just ended, so I'll try to condense all those down into one. For the Leicester game, just pleasantly surprised to get that win. Didn't know what to expect really, because Leicester, was higher up the table, but sort of dropped off a little bit of late, and uh, to see us come out and get two goals pretty quickly. The one with a nice assist from Anthony Gordon and Richarlison doing what he does. That was good to see early. Jumped all over him, and then kept the pressure up enough to get awarded a penalty, and for Gylfi Sigurdsson to just nail it. Finally just confidently score a penalty kick was good. I watched this game in retrospect, so I saw the score was 2-1. So when I saw up 2-0 pretty early, I was like, guess there's a goal coming here soon. And then, we were holding on a little bit into the first half. Leicester comes out. They put James Madison on, and they come out, put a lot more pressure on us, and score kind of a fluky goal. And they had a really good chance where Keane and Pickford flubbed an exchange and almost on goaled it. And they had some more chances. I mean, I don't want to act like Leicester wasn't swarming us and smothering us there at the end, but none of them to me really seemed like a goal was inevitably coming. I understand that if you're watching the game live and you see the score go from 2-1 early, and you just feel like there's 30, 40 more minutes of chances for Leicester to score. It just sort of all feels like them just waiting for that next goal. But knowing that the score ended at 2-1, I was able to just look at it a little more objectively. And while I agree that they did have all the ball and they were, the only ones looking like they would score a goal potentially, it wasn't quite as bad as I've seen it described, like we wilted or anything. I think we just held tight. We eliminated any really, really dangerous chances, and there are a couple good opportunities, but every team gets opportunities in a game, so I wasn't that mad at the end. I was just glad we got a win, even though we didn't look that great the whole game. We kind of just did what we needed to do, which was jump on them early, give them a big hill to climb, and they couldn't climb it. That happens sometimes, so I'm glad for that. In that game in particular, just was pleased with Anthony Gordon, and Keane. Michael Keane's been playing well, and that was good to see that continue. And for this next game, a lot more disappointed at the result, even though I know I kind of had always felt like we wouldn't really get into Europe. It always sucks to see, even if you're kind of, your team isn't good enough or something, when the chickens come home to roost, and you actually see them not be able to do what they can't do, it still doesn't feel good. So they're just I don't know, man. Tottenham's just one of them teams. They're struggling a little bit too, but they do have better quality than us, especially in the midfield. And that's, to me, early in this game, that became just really apparent, because I feel like every time we play Tottenham, I'll get to this a little bit later, but yeah, the midfield was not up to the task. I mean, Tottenham's midfield was not. I feel like their midfield wasn't like gangbusters better, but it was competent. And they have, I think Son kind of plays midfield a little bit. They got him for creativity, let's just say. And their other midfielders are just quick, and they're feisty, you know. So our midfielders, while they do have Andre Gomez, who brings some skill and a little bit of finesse, he's not quick. He could be considered feisty, but it's like feisty in sort of the bad way, whereas like he's throwing out a challenge that he never was going to win because he's a little too slow. Like I just said, he's not quick. So his feistiness usually gets him into trouble, creates a foul, yellow card, gets ran by. I think I saw a stat that said he's been the most run by Premier League player since the return or something. So he's not that fast. And Gylfi Sigurdsson, Tom Davies, I'm not. Iwobi was I don't know if he was a winger or kind of a left mid, but anyway, I think he was a winger. Well, all I'm trying to say is our midfield was slow, and we just don't have that creativity. Gomez is able to make a nice sharp diagonal pass every now and then, but that's not really creativity. That's just redirecting the ball to an area of the pitch. He wasn't really creating and then making some space for other players to him to dump a through ball through to someone. So that's what you see other teams doing, and then you see the other midfields just harassing the middle of the pitch. Um, we just need, to me, to in that game it would have been. I don't think you could have. I don't think we would. I mean, we just needed a midfield that could have made that a dogfight in the center of the pitch. Whereas Tottenham was smothering and swarming Gomez when he got the ball. They were all over Richarlison when he picked up the ball in the midfield. They knew which players to key in on and to harass. We need some players that can do that too and just make it a battlefield in there. That's what the best we could have hoped for in a game like that against Tottenham. Just to go in there and fight and win, beat them to some balls. That's another thing, was that we were losing a lot of foot races. And that's my next overall point was we lost a lot of foot races. Like Tottenham's overall team speed was marginally better than our overall team speed. I mean, once you go out to the sides for us, we do have some decent speed. Like Richarlison's not slow, DCL's fast up top, Iwobi's can put the burners on. But, their guys were keeping up with our guys, and, DCL's trying to streak down to the right or something, and they're keeping up with it. So instead of you blowing by or around the guy, Tottenham just had some good overall team speed that we weren't able to manage, to me, and that's how they kind of scored that first goal, or that only goal, which was just, it ended up being a deflection off Keane, but what got him there was Son just bumbling around in front of the, in the penalty area, kicking it to Kane, who kicks it to another dude who's just chilling. I think it was a midfielder who's just sitting up in our box ready to score. And we don't have Tom Davies sort of kind of comes to the box sometime to score, but I never see Gomez hanging out, in the penalty area. And Gylfi Sigurdsson usually just seems a step behind when it's like, hey, be in the right spot to score a goal from up close. So whatever. I think that's what beat us. Tottenham's just competent, probably tactics from Jose Mourinho, and then their athleticism and things was a little bit more than ours. I was also disappointed in, just as a consequence of what I just said, we didn't get a lot of good opportunities to score. I mean, Richarlison had one right before the half that could have bounced in if it would been just an inch or two to the right. But other than that, nobody really looked like they were causing problems for Tottenham. And it's just, again, they have a competent defense. If they're doing the things that Jose wants them to do, and we're not really finding any chinks in that armor. We didn't have any creativity. We had, work the ball to Gomez, ping it left, work the ball to Gomez, ping it right. Richarlison pick up from the middle. There was one ball that Iwobi could have broke through in on. That was a decent pass. We were trying things, but we just would lose the foot race a lot of times. And you're just like, man, just need a little more speed or just enough speed to keep them honest, change direction fast enough for them to lose a step or two, but we couldn't do that. We couldn't just put it all together. I know a lot of fans call that Everton bottling it like they always do, but I don't look at it like we bottled it. We just don't have, like I said, we don't have a team good enough to beat the teams that are consistently up top, especially when your midfield is as anemic as ours. I hated that we had a whole lot of dead ball opportunities, but there weren't any good kicks. Like, Dean didn't whip any in that looked dangerous. Gylfi didn't. Who was that? One time I saw Richarlison try to whip one in. I saw DCL trying to whip one in from the side on a couple open play. Those weren't dead balls, but, we had opportunities to just whip in crosses, and they never looked dangerous. Probably the only good thing is, like, I'm used to seeing Tottenham push us around and, like, us just sort of get overrun in the middle of the pitch and get bullied. And this is one of the only times where I felt like we didn't let them bully us. In fact, in some cases, I was seeing our players actually be the ones to instigate fouls, just like, forget you, I don't care, I'm tripping you. And I'm used to seeing Tottenham do that because they kind of play with this sort of like, hey, we're not big and bad, but they kind of try to bully you. You know, I don't even think they're like Liverpool light with that. Like they're fit enough to just shove you around a little bit and make you uncomfortable, and that's just their game plan. Then they got finesse like Harry Kane and Son and Dele Alli. They got the skilled players to hurt you, and then everybody else is just kind of a supporting little like, yeah, don't mess with us, we're Tottenham. So it kind of worked today. I mean, they didn't have the finesse really. They had just a finesse and a little luck. But I was just glad to see our team didn't fold. We kind of went there like with some attitude. Maybe that's because Gomez got hurt last time we played them, and they were like, we gotta leave some lumps on them for a change. Or maybe it's just they finally learned a lesson, and this team bullies us a lot, and we need to quit getting bullied. But it didn't equal a draw or a win, so not really matter. Didn't really matter. I guess another bad point of this game was Holgate got hurt. You know, off a silly challenge he made, he ended up getting himself hurt. Hope it's not for long. He walked off the pitch, you know, but definitely don't need to lose him in a couple of important games coming up. But what's important now? I think I haven't looked at the numbers, but apparently we needed to win this to have a real shot at Europe. So we lost it. So maybe it doesn't matter what happens with Holgate. Wouldn't be mad if you saw Jared Branthwaite getting in. I mean, that would kind of send off some alarm bells for people probably, because that really means you're folding and you bring in a academy player who hasn't played any. I don't even know how many under 23 games he's played. So to just be like, well, this season's written off, we're bringing in the youngins. That kind of confirms everybody's sentiment that the season's over. So again, with the theme of you hate to see what you expect confirmed with your favorite team. So kind of rambling on about the Tottenham game, but I guess it's sort of the end of a dream of the fan base's dream of reaching Europe and moving on under the strong leadership of Carlo Ancelotti. But I think now he's just got to sit back and we got to rebuild. We got to be bringing in players that are going to make us better and make games like that more exciting. I don't even care if we would have lost that game. It would have been good to just see us compete with them and cause them problems. We had a lot of the ball, but we weren't like causing them problems. They were fine just keeping us at arm's length. And I would like to see somebody like what's the dude for Man United that came in, Fernandez, that midfielder. He made them before Pogba coming back. He made them a little dangerous because he could create from the middle of the park, and you had to sort of be respectful of what he brought to the team, and we don't really have that. We just need that and some speed, and we need Ghana Gay back, that kind of type player where it's like he's just running around putting out fires and being the legs for Gomez. I don't know what'll happen on the wings. The wing situation is still a little weird to me. Bernard seems to be dropping off, and really disappointed with DCL because he seems to have reverted back to that almost score type of thing where it's like, you were just there. He didn't even really have that today. But the last couple games, you see him running right at the last little step. You're like, man, if you were just a little bit ahead, you would have scored or you would have got a better shot on that. But maybe that's because of the long layoff and it's hard to get back in sync. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of with everybody else where it's like I just want the season to end. I want to get to the summer transfer. I mean, I've felt like that a while now. I haven't really voiced that, but now that we're here, I kind of feel like I've always really wanted to just hurry up and get in some players in the places where we know we need them. And with Gabaman going down, that sort of ended the season. I mean, one guy doesn't make a season, but not having the legs in the middle of the pitch to help our kind of creative midfielder in Gomez just shut it down. So we just need to get somebody in for that reason. So maybe another center back. And we'll see. I've been trying to keep my videos a little shorter, but I feel like I have enough emotion and a little bit of angst behind this one to keep going. But I'm going to put a button in it there. And despite the 0-1 loss, up the Toffees.